Hello, Psyheads, and welcome to yet another psychedelic tutorial just for you. So, in one of my previous tutorials, to be more precise, the tutorial on crazy psychedelic transition effects, one of you named Chris asked me if I know how to do droplet liquid underwater sounds that are mostly common in Globaler's work, for example, in the track For the Time Being. So I listened to the track For the Time Being, and I'm familiar with Globaler's work, of course, and I identified the sound that Chris makes as phased out rimshot, and I hope I identified it properly because I'm not sure if this is the sound you really mean, but it probably is. So yeah, let's all take a listen to this part of the Globalist track For the Time Being, and then we will all know what Chris is thinking about, hopefully. I really identified it as a rim shot on which you put phaser with high modulation rate, and therefore you have this really cool watery sound. So I tried to recreate this sound, but since I'm working on something darker and on something more psychedelic, it all went in that direction, you know? I took the liberty of making this sound much more psychedelic and more gnarly, but with a respect to the original idea, alright? So, here is my exciting new project about which I mustn't speak because it's too soon to speak about such a great project. But yeah, I implemented that sound effects into this project, which is a Psytrance project, you know? So this is just to prove the point that you can use that sound effect inside up as Globaler used it very, very well, but you can also use it in some faster styles of psychedelic music. So take a listen to this part here. Yeah, so the sound we will be working on will sound something like this at the end. So yeah, to begin with this sound, we need a sound of a rim shot. There are countless samples on the internet, but for this opportunity I will use one of my dearest plugins I have, which is MT Power Drum Kit. It's a free VST plugin with really realistic sound of drums. Wow! Why don't I hear anything? Because this is all shit. Wow! Yeah, it's really good. I used it in lots of my tracks. It's free. It has all those grooves here like samples, but we don't need that. We need just one sound from it, and that's this side stick or rim shot. It doesn't matter how do you call it. Maybe there's a difference. Maybe I am too naive, but I am no drummer on this matter. So yeah, I will just copy this because here is the original. Yeah. You see, rim shots and side sticks are usually here on cis C sharp one, and so yeah. Now we have this. Okay, so probably the first step of doing anything with this is putting on some nice reverb to it. You know, because this all came from dub music, and you know how in dub there is some really big reverb, usually on the snare, and that sounds pretty cool to me. Let's see, what will we do, like something like this. Cool. So the next step is bringing out some kind of phaser. I will use the phaser by Melda Production, which I really like. I really like this whole Melda Production free plugin stuff because they are free and they have this some kind of old school vibe and sound to it, which I really like lately. So yeah, here is Phaser by Melda Production. And what I'm going to do, I will boost the feedback a bit and I will boost the rate. And I will play with minimum and maximum frequency. So let's see how does it sound now. You see there needs to be a high rate of modulation. And let's see what do we have here. You see, this is just you are anchoring the frequencies from which the modulation starts and at which it ends. So the higher the gap between these two knobs, it will be more crazy. So you just tune it at your liking, I don't know. And mode, like, I think it's too much if you go over to this. I think like mode 3 is good enough, but let's see how this sounds. Yeah, I like mode 3. It's gentle enough and you can hear the modulation much more clearly than on all those other modes. And I'm also going to do, I will bring phase difference to 0 or to 1 and -1. Okay, 1, let's say. So yeah, when the phase difference is 180, this whole sound becomes really stereo, which is sometimes okay, but here in this psytrance track where there are so many sounds and everything happening, I think it's much better to keep this sound in mono and in center so it doesn't eat too much of mixing space, right? So now we have something like this. Cool. And now what we can do, we can automate the rate knob and the frequency knobs here. So let's see. For example, whoop, whoop, beepa, whoopee. And now this sounds like this. So yeah, you can easily go to the rate which is not sufficient for this kind of sound. So it is better to start with lower rate and then go to higher rate. You see how it goes? Okay. And let's maybe try to modulate maximum frequency. In that way we will boost some different colors to it. Cool, yeah, I think this needs a bit more of changing and playing with, but you get the idea. Yeah, it really sounds cool. And the thing I did to make it even more psychedelic is I added frequency shifter again from the Melda production plugins. And I really like how crazy you can get with this plugin. So I turned the feedback on until, yeah, like I turn it up way high. And the only thing you need to do now is to play with delay time. And I like to automate that and I like to play with that. Like, for example, you see how it goes. You see how it goes. So some gentle modulations with that are also good. Yeah, so now we've end up with something which sounds more like hallucinogen or spongle rather than globular. But yeah, I really like how it got all much more psychedelic. But you see the principles here, like you can play with it to get some more gentle sound without frequency shifter, to get it in the phaser just right, and then you have this bubbly sensation of rim shots. Whoa, 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 whoa. And I saw that Globular used regular delay after it. After all these modulations, he also used delay. So let's try and do that as well. I think for this I will take like a long delay time. Oh, so much noise. I like it a lot. And maybe just a tip, you could compress these sounds in order to make them sound equal, so that the one isn't and the other but okay. So we need to maybe put them all in the same area of dynamics, but maybe not. Maybe you like that it goes crazy in a dynamic sense, which I also really like lately much more than all this compressed stuff. You should also play with EQ. I haven't touched my EQ8 today, but you know how it goes. You know what you have to do. So yeah, this is it. Short and sweet tutorial for today's Hi-Hats. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you learned something and that you got inspired to create some crazy, crazy psychedelic stuff, right? Alright, see you soon. Bye.